Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your boy Sorik. Welcome to Sorik Kazemi, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today I thought we would do a little tarot reading. What do you need to hear right now? And so we've got 3 piles for you today, as you can see. Pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. I'm going to go and whichever pile you pick, I'm going to read, there's a message on the back of each of these. So I'm going to read the message to you, and then we're going to pull some tarot cards and some oracle cards to get a sense of, what's something you need to hear right now. So pile number 1, your card says, I speak and think positively. Pile number 2, your card says, I express my true being today. And pile number 3, your card says, I rise above all limitations. So, take a moment, take a couple deep breaths if you'd like. Choose whichever card draws you in the most, and then look in the description for the timestamp for your reading, and I'll see you there. Hi there, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. If you picked this card, then this is where you will find out what you need to hear right now. So, your card here says, I speak and think positively. So I'm going to read the message on the back of it, and then we'll pull some tarot and oracle cards to let you know what you need to hear. So the back of this card. I listen to what I say. If I hear myself using negative or limiting words, I change them. So I think this is a thing that everyone needs to hear from time to time, because if you've ever taken a linguistics class, I think the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis says something. The words that you use shape your cognition, because literally different languages have words for different concepts that are related to the culture that they come from. And likewise, the language that we use can limit or expand what we believe is possible or not possible. For example, I personally used to use a lot of should type language, and that had the effect of making me feel really bad about stuff. Because, when you put a lot of shoulds on yourself, then you start feeling like you're not measuring up to this hypothetical standard that you believe you should be meeting. And in the same way, it's good to be conscious of the kind of language that we're using to think about ourselves and to think about our situations in life and the people in our lives. If we can reframe the things that we think, especially the things that we habitually think. So if you pay attention to the things that you say and think, and catch yourself using the same turns of phrase over and over again. For example, if you use a lot of, you never do this kind of language in terms of speaking to someone else, then consequently you will set yourself up to only notice when that person doesn't do that thing, and not notice, and you won't notice when they do something positive, for example. I'm not saying this applies in every case, but that's just, one example of how it can be. And another way that this can manifest is if you have negative self-talk, for example. If you make a mistake and your reactive tendency is to go, oh man, I'm so stupid. That's not a thought that is going to help you improve yourself, because being stupid, quote unquote, being stupid is it feels like a fixed kind of attribute. It feels like something you are, instead of feeling like something that you can improve. you know? So if you put yourself in that sort of fixed mindset, it's hard to create space for yourself to change your behavior. As opposed to, like, say for example, if you make a mistake and you go, oh man, I do not like what I did with this situation. Let me learn from this so that I don't do the same mistake again. You know? Then that it shifts your focus from a state of how you are being to instead a behavior that you have done. And behaviors can be changed. Right? So that is a message that I'm taking from this card. Alright, let's move this up and let us pull you some tarot cards. So this deck that I'm going to be using, it's called the Headless Tarot. It is by Violet Magician on Etsy. It is one of my absolute favorite tarot decks that I own, and lately has been my most used tarot deck as well. So I think I'm going to probably pull a past, present, future for y'all, so that we can see, you know, what have you been dealing with, what are you dealing with, and what are you gonna be dealing with? And what can we tell you about all of that? Alright, what's pile one's past energy been like? What has pile one been dealing with in the recent past? We have the Eight of Wands. All the cards in this deck have like either animal heads or object heads kind of on them, hence the name Headless Tarot. Okay, what about pile one's present energy? What is pile one currently dealing with? What is pile one currently dealing with? We have the Three of Wands. Two Wands cards. How fiery of you. Oh man, choosing a purple background this time was maybe not the move. That's okay. Do I want to take this? Nah, we'll put it back. Okay. Can I get pile one's future energy, please? Oh, okay, that was... Whoa. We got two cards. We have the Eight of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Alright, we'll take both of those. Okay, so pile one. Your past energy being the Eight of Wands, you might have been moving forward with a lot of projects recently. You might have been busy, you might have been, you know, in fast, go-go mode. Wands, the Eight of Wands has to do with the first 10 degrees of Sagittarius. So if you have a placement there, that placement might have been being activated right now by Saturn, because Saturn is in the first 10 degrees of Pisces, and if you have any placements in the first 10 degrees of Sagittarius, it would be squared by Saturn. So this might be a sort of situation where you have been moving forward with something at a really fast pace, especially if it's something that you've wanted to try for a very long time. And it seems, based on the energy of this, that perhaps you are a little bit Not like unhappy with how these new activities are going, but like maybe you're not satisfied with them, you know? Maybe they haven't gotten to the place that you wish that they were at right now. And maybe this card is giving you the sort of hint that taking into account the way that you are framing things might be the key to helping you get this new project or venture to the sort of state that you want it to be at. So for one interpretation that I could see here is being like more focused on what you haven't achieved rather than giving yourself, you know, props or kudos or what have you for whatever you have achieved so far. Maybe you're not at like the high point that you wish that this project was at yet, but nevertheless, this first of all indicates to me that you've gotten a start on this project, which is huge. It can be really hard to start things, and so even taking those first steps is so monumental, you know? You've started climbing the mountain, and the only way to get to the top of the mountain is to start climbing it, after all. So, yeah, your past energy is giving me that, like, you've started a project and you are going for your goal, but you're not there yet, you know? Your present energy, the Three of Wands, ties into this nicely because the Three of Wands is about expansion. Let's see, the Three of Wands will correspond to the second decan of Aries, so between 10 and 20 degrees of Aries. And if you have something there, probably, well, I mean, first of all, this Venus retrograde is going to be backwards trining any placements that you have in Aries, in like the middle chunk of Aries. So that will probably be significant for you. And then if you have placements in mid-Aries, the Mercury retrograde will also be impacting them, probably. I don't remember the exact degree ranges of the Mercury retrograde, but if it's in the middle part of Virgo, sorry, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde in Virgo upcoming. And if you have something in the middle degrees of Aries, you'll be getting a secret conjunction from there's this Hellenistic aspect called Antisha, where certain signs are reflected across the 0 degrees Cancer, 0 degrees Capricorn line. And so Aries is on this side of it, and Virgo is on this side of it. So they are what you call Antisha to each other. And it's kind of like Hellenistic astrologers consider it to be a secret conjunction. So Mercury retrograde is going to be impacting those placements, and so is Venus retrograde. So with this, you might be taking the time to review what's going on with this project or projects that you've started. You're going to be taking stock of how you want to move going forward. Do you want to collaborate with other people? Because, you know, threes are very like, threes are in the tarot the number where like you move beyond like a one-on-one partnership and you move into kind of a collaborative energy. So like one is like, you know, it's singular, it's initiatory, and it's more solitary. Twos are about partnership. There's you and one other person or you and one other thing. But then threes, you combine 1 and 2 and you get something more than their parts. You get a 3. So this might indicate that your way forward involves getting help or partnering or collaborating with more than one person. This might also indicate that if you have like multiple projects going on, you might have some sort of like crossover between those projects that is going to help take you forward to where you want to go. So for example, like say that you have like a music project that you're working on, and you also like say you're in school and you have some sort of class that you're taking that requires like a large video project for the finale or something, you might be able to combine this video project with the music project that you've been working on and spend your time like progressing yourself in both of those goals while still being able to work on both things you want, because you're finding a way to marry the two. Yeah, so that's the present energy I'm getting. And then for your future energy, we have two cards. We have the Eight of Pentacles and the King of Swords. So this is speaking to me like the Eight of Pentacles is very much about like getting your work done. The Eight of Pentacles is like the continuous sort of process that will be required to lead to creative fulfillment. With this card in particular, this design of this card, I see it as like, it takes time to fill this whole scroll, for example, right? Especially if you're handwriting. And Pentacles are the slowest of the 4 tarot suits. So this might indicate that where you've been going fast with these two Wands energies, because Wands is the second fastest, you may need to slow down and do a lot of like foundation laying in your work. But this is going to pay off if you take the time to slow down and make sure you have some of your basics good and your foundations for your project solid. The King of Swords is fast. Swords is the fastest suit in the tarot. And the King is, it's the hierarchically in the tarot, the quote-unquote highest in the deck, even though I don't necessarily know how I feel about all of that. But for the purposes of right now, we're going to say the King of Swords is a representation of like mastery that you share with the outside world. So whereas like the Queens of the decks kind of represent a sort of like internal mastery and being able to use what you've gained in your sort of like internal world, the Kings represent taking that mastery and sharing it with the outside world. And so basically what I'm getting from this is that if you do take this time to slow down, reassess, especially with like the currently ongoing Venus retrograde and the upcoming Mercury retrograde, if you take the time to give yourself some grace and slow your pace a little bit, you will be able to move forward faster because you'll have like a solid grip on the fundamentals of what you would like to accomplish. All right, so we're gonna move this forward a little bit, and we're going to draw for y'all an oracle card. Whoops! I just dropped the whole deck. Hold on, stand by. All right, so the oracle deck we're using is Kim Cron's Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. I am always a little bit side-eye at the name of this deck because it's like, you just took spirit animal and switched the words around, but like, it's a good deck. So we are going to pull for y'all an animal oracle deck. Okay. We have the bee. Where am I going to put this? Hold on. Let's do this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the bee card goes very great with the Eight of Pentacles because this card is all about being a busy, busy little bee. So the bee is obviously a member of a hive, and it works in collaboration with its hive mates. So again, reflecting this message of maybe you will be collaborating with someone or someone's on your projects and working consistently. You know, bees don't kind of like try to do everything all at once. They don't try to, you don't make honey by like going out for pollen everywhere all at once in one day and then just like sit there and make honey. You go out and do like a little bit of flower, a little bit of pollen every day, and you slowly work up that honey. You slowly work up the hive. So this is a great sort of message on doing steady, consistent, paced work. And in fact, I think I'm also going to read the bee message from the guidebook, just because I think that would be nice. So the bee is associated with the air element. That's this upward facing triangle with the line in it. So the keywords for the bee are earnest, hardworking, and democratic. The bee personality is a delight to be around, especially when there's a team project on the horizon. Bees love to work steadily and thoughtfully until the final task is complete. They are sensitive creatures, aware of many subtleties at once, since they're artists at heart. They usually add creative details to the overall vision. For the most part, they have bustling, joyous personalities, until they're too tired from all the work. Then they gripe and then sting. So, when in balance, content, active, and vibrant. When out of balance, overworked, annoyed. To bring into balance, mini vacation. So, I think this offers a great little hint of advice at make sure you give yourself your props, appreciate how much you have progressed in your goals, and also appreciate the fact that it's going to take you a little while to get where you want to go still. But if you pace yourself, if you take appropriate breaks, if you give yourself your well-earned little treats for all of the work you're doing, you are going, also just saying, you deserve little treats regardless, you know? We gotta have little treats to be alive. It's just, it makes life so much better. But you know, reward yourself for all of the work you're doing. Take your breaks, take your little vacations. Give yourself grace and space to work on your creative processes, to work on your problem solving, and to really make sure that you give yourself a schedule and like a rate of movement where you have enough time to accomplish the thing that you would like to accomplish. Okay, I think that is what I have for you today, Pile 1. Thank you so much for listening. If you like the video, please let me know by liking, leaving a comment down below, sharing. You can subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified of when I post more videos. I also do astrology videos on my vlog series, Kazemi Vlogs. You can check that out on my page. I also offer readings. I will put a link to that down below in the description. And yeah, comment to me if you have any topic suggestions, or, you know, let me know which pile you got and if it resonated for you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and take care. Till next time, bye-bye. Well, howdy there, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. If you chose this card, then you've come to the right place. So, I'm gonna read the back of this card here, because it's got a little message on it, and then we're gonna pull some tarot and oracle cards to see what message you need to hear right now. Alright, let's just get started with this. So, your card, the front says, I express my true being today. And on the back, we've got This is a new day. I begin anew to claim and create all that is good. So, with this, let's see, what's this? I express my true being today. I begin anew to claim and create all that is good. Okay, so pile 2, I'm getting the vibe that you may be approaching like a turning point. Like maybe you've been closing out some certain chapters in your life or certain projects, and you're preparing yourself to head forth into like a new venture, a new way of being, a new routine. Just something for you is about to start, and it's going to help you further your personal expression. Like, look at this person. They look like a sun. The nice thing about the sun in astrology is that the sun is supposed to be like the sun is the constant source of fire in the sky. It's fixed, right? So it always remains consistent. The sun has the most consistent movement of all of the planets in the zodiac. It moves about 1 degree per day. Every day. And its movement is always within a certain degree range of like, so there's a thing called the ecliptic that we measure, like, which is the path of the sun's orbit in the sky. And the sun, obviously, because it's like the thing that we measure the ecliptic by, it never moves beyond that line in the sky, whereas the other planets can go, you know, above or below it. But anyway, so the sun represents the personality and your like spiritual core self. And so with the sun on like the reverse side of this card, maybe I'll just leave this side up because I keep turning to it. I express my true being today. The sun is, I guess, a representative of the true being. So maybe it's Leo season right now, although you could, I guess, watch this reading anytime because, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're watching this reading at a different time of year, then that's fine. The other messages could certainly still apply. But if you're watching this right now, around when it's coming out, it's Leo season right now, and Leo is like the sun's home, you know? It's the place where the sun is comfortable. So maybe this card is giving you that sort of go-ahead to get in touch with whatever sign your sun is in your chart. Or if you know the houses in your chart, it can tell you that you might need to like get in touch with the area that Leo covers in your chart. So whatever houses contain Leo in your birth chart, maybe you are getting in touch with them right now, or it might be a good idea to do so. Okay, let's pull you some tarot cards. I am going to be using one of my favorite tarot decks. This is called the Headless Tarot, and it is by Violet Magician on Etsy. And so all of the cards have either like animal heads or like heads that are objects or, you know, non-human heads. And so it's a very beautiful deck and I'm very fond of it. I've been using it a lot recently. Ooh. We're not going to keep this card, but I'll have a look at it. The Seven of Pentacles. See, the head's a little watering can. Because you've got to water your seeds after you plant them. Otherwise, how will they grow? Okay, can I get pile 2's past energy, please? Oh, the star. Okay. And then can we get pile 2's present energy, please? Your present energy. I guess we'll take a look at them. The Ace of Wands and the Ten of Swords. Ooh, look at that. Look at that reflection. Look at that. Okay, and can we get pile 2's future energy, please? Pile 2's future energy. Ooh, look at that. 9 of Cups. Okay. So, pile 2. For your past energy, we've got the star. So the vibe I'm getting here is it's interesting that you've got this like sort of sun thing going on and then a star vibe going on here. So it's like Leo, and then the star card is Aquarius. So maybe that axis, because Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs, maybe that axis is kind of important to you. Possibly. But yeah, the star card is like, it's a card that is often associated with hope, with faith, with optimism in balancing, I guess, the energies of the past and the future. Part of the reason it's associated with Aquarius is because it's often pouring out water, and Aquarius is the water bearer sign. So in your past circumstances, you might have been operating a lot on like the hope or faith that things are going to work out okay. Perhaps the hope or faith that you are going to get a chance to do the things that you want to do, even if they don't happen immediately. Because Aquarius is traditionally ruled by Saturn. So it's very much about being in it for the long haul, having your eye on a vision for the future, and knowing that it's going to take a while to get there, but you will get there. Right? And so another thing here is you may have been making efforts to connect with groups of people that you care about or that you have wanted to become more involved in, because up until this year, Saturn was in Aquarius for the past 2.5 years. So part of your past energy may have been searching out new connections, or possibly shedding and letting go of old connections or old situations that didn't allow you to shine and express your true being. You know, maybe you were cutting out the things in your life that weren't letting you express yourself so that you can bring way to something new and more fulfilling, that you can create a fresh sort of situation for yourself. Another thing to mention with Aquarius here is that right after Saturn left Aquarius and moved into Pisces at the beginning of March, towards the end of March, Pluto moved into Aquarius. It spent the last 15 years or so in Capricorn, but from about late March until June 11th of this year, Pluto was in Aquarius. So anything that was happening in your life during that time, especially if you're watching this when it comes out, in the recent past, whatever was happening in your life at that time was also giving you a little preview, a little hope, a little faith for what you might be able to expect in the future. So your present energy, you've got the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Swords, and it always tickles me when these two cards come out together, because that's happened for me before, and they are very much lying in the same position. And so I feel like there's a vibe of like fear definitely fear, anxiety, perhaps some mental turmoil, especially because the Ten of Swords is the Swords card is to do with the mind and to do with the thoughts, because it's associated with the element of air, and air is very cerebral. Whereas the Ace of Wands is associated with fire. It's like a spark. It's like when you light a match and spark a firework or something, right? So you're in this state of perhaps beginning something anew, of trying to take the sort of like thing that you've been eyeballing and take the first step into making it a reality instead of just a vision in your head. However, as you are doing that, you might also be, scared. And you might also be closing out some things from this past period that are still giving you some sort of anguish or anxiety. This doesn't need to be in your head either. You might be in a present situation that is quite difficult for you in some sort of way. You might be in some sort of place where like you have things stopping you. You have these swords in your back that are stopping you from being able to express the true self that you would like to embody. And maybe you do feel pinned in place by your circumstances and you don't feel like you can fully embody the person that you want to be yet. But even with that, even with this pain, with this turmoil, with this difficulty, whatever it is that you're facing, you still are recognizing that the Ace of Wands, it's the number one, The Ten of Swords, this is like the end of the sword cycle, because 10 is a number of culmination and completion. The Ace is the 1. So this is, you recognize that even while you're stuck here and you haven't gotten out yet, you are still able to take little baby new steps at creating a new reality for yourself. Even if you are doing the tiniest little thing different, one by one, all those little changes will add up to a huge change. If you look at yourself from 5 years ago, for example, and you think about all of the little changes that have happened in your life, all of the small ways in which you started doing things different, or you made certain choices that seemed insignificant at the time, but eventually they all added up and culminated in perhaps some more major life changes. That is the way that the 10 and the 1 can work together here in the present. Even if there are things that are holding you back, that doesn't mean that you can't take agency in little ways and try to express your true self in whatever small ways you can. You have to start somewhere. And it's okay to take your time. However, because Swords and Wands are both fast cards, they're the two faster suits in the tarot deck, it's possible that your difficult circumstances may be ending sooner than you think. And these changes, these little baby changes of positive direction, might start building up and adding up sooner than you think. And your future card definitely seems to support that suggestion, because you got the 9 of Cups for your future card. And look how pretty that is. I love the rainbow head. I think I drew a picture based on this at one point. Yeah, I painted something based on this. Anyway. So, the 9 of Cups. This is a very blissful card, just straight up. Like, look how happy this person is in this card. They've got their foot popped. They've got all of these beautiful cups over a rainbow. Rainbows, of course, can be associated with many positive things generally, with the sun coming out after a bout of rain, with the proverbial pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. Rainbows also, because they contain all of the colors, there can be a sense of wholeness, or having like a very diverse range of beauty in your life. And of course, if you're one of my LGBTQ plus buddies, perhaps the Nine of Cups could represent a situation in your life where you're able to be like more openly yourself. Maybe you can be more gay, or more bi, or more trans, or more ace, or more queer, in whatever sort of way you want. That's one form of self-expression that could certainly line up with what I've been talking about. Or maybe you want to do something that is not necessarily like possible for you right now. Like maybe you would like to be, I don't know, maybe you would like to do a dance choreography, for example, but you've not like really started, you don't really have space to do a dance choreo at where you are right now, and you just haven't had the time or the energy to put into learning a dance choreo, for example. So maybe this could represent that, perhaps something in that stuckness will change. Perhaps you will find out about an affordable sort of way to learn dancing that you can do, or maybe you will have a situation open up to you where you do have a space where you can go practice dancing or something. And the future influence is highly suggesting that whatever it is that you are trying to embody, whatever true self you're trying to get to, the Nine of Cups speaks to you having had the capacity to build up to that thing that you desire. There's a great deal of contentment here, a great deal of indulgence, and definitely like a level of emotional satisfaction that comes with it, because it is a Cups card. So overall, I think the message of this reading is giving me that you will have time and the ability to become the new you, or become the true you that you want to be and that you want to express. And it might happen sooner than you are thinking. Things might change sooner than you are thinking in order to help you achieve this vision of the kind of person you want to be, or the kind of situation you want to be in, or the kind of life you want to live. Okay, let us do an oracle card. I'm going to rearrange this real quick so we can move and make room for the oracle card. Okay. For this, we shall be using the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. I do not know how to feel about the fact that it is titled the Animal Spirit deck. Like, I guess at least she didn't say Spirit Animal deck, but like, I don't know. I do enjoy the deck though. It's very beautiful. I love how it's divided into the 4 different elements, and I think it's just a really good selection of animals. It's called the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, so it's like only wild, and like not domesticated and not pets. These are beasties. Okay, can we please get an Animal Spirit Oracle card for pile 2? There we go. Ooh, we've got the Stingray. Oh, look at that! We've got this rainbow and a rainbow. Oh my goodness. I love that. Okay. Let me read y'all the description from the guidebook, because the guidebooks have good descriptions and I'd like to share them. Okay, Stingray. Developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The Stingray card represents a pivotal point in personal growth. A pivotal point. Haha. The moment has come when the Stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends make the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made now, it is inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again, as the force of dharma growing within the Stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, eager, wants to grow. When out of balance, blames others, quits. To bring into balance, move through the discomfort. Wow, okay. So, if you don't know what dharma is, it is a Hindu/Vedic/Buddhist/Jain concept. It's from that system of thought. Dharma is a concept that means like your life's duty or your calling or your path, you know? So basically what it's talking about here is, like I said, there's a moment that has come for you where you have to take your vision and you have to start transitioning from the place where you've been stuck into the place where you want to be. Because the only way that you're going to get to where you want to be is if you do something and make a change. And even if the change is painful or challenging or gives you pressure from the circumstances around you, it is not something that is going to go away just because you ignore it, you know? And you might have had times before where like you were on the precipice of deciding like, am I gonna be this true me? Am I gonna like openly express or like, I don't know, take steps to being the way that I would like to be? And you might have decided no in the past because that was just what your circumstances dictated, or maybe you just weren't ready to go there yet. But the reading here is encouraging, in my view, is encouraging you to, in whatever small ways you can, even if they are the ways that feel safe to you, to start doing something different. And even the safest decision is going to feel like kind of uncomfortable when you are stepping into a new way of being. And you know, like, it's okay to fake it till you make it a little bit if you need to. That's kind of like, the Magician card isn't here, but that's kind of the vibe of the Magician card, is that sometimes you have to just sort of like act like you have this sense of newfound confidence, and then work on developing that actual sense of confidence underlying while you are putting on that facade, let's say, or when you are donning that mask. It doesn't have to feel perfect at first, but once you start bringing out these little bits of who you want to be, they will start feeling more and more like you. Don't be afraid to show all of your colors, whatever that might mean to you. You probably have something beautiful to share with the world just by being the person that you would like to be, or perhaps even the person that you are meant to be, if that's something that resonates with you. But, you know, hey, maybe there's no meant to be. Maybe we are just being the people that we decide to be. And that's pretty awesome too. Okay, pile 2, I think this is where I'm going to leave you for today. Thank you so much for listening and watching the reading. If you liked it, please let me know by, you can comment down below. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to know when I'm going to post more readings. You can click the notification bell if you want to be notified right when I upload a reading. If you have any topic suggestions, or you want to tell me like how your reading went, what pile you got, you can drop that in the comments below. Otherwise, take care wherever you are, day or night, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Woo! Hello there, pile 3. If this was the card you chose, then welcome to your reading. So I'm going to read the message on the back of this in a second, and then we're going to pull 3 tarot cards for a past, present, future kind of vibe, and then I'm going to pull you an oracle card to tie it all up. Alright, let's start with this. I rise above all limitations. Whenever I encounter a challenge in my life, I use the experience to learn and grow. Okay. I rise above all limitations. Whenever I encounter a challenge in my life, I use the experience to learn and grow. Okay, pile 3. With this card, I am getting the impression that you may be coming off a time of lots of blocks, lots of challenges, lots of sort of stumbling blocks on the path to getting where you need to go. And this person here, let's see, they've got like a kite going on, and we've got like a tree situation here in the back. So the vibe here is very much like mistakes are opportunities to learn, is what I'm getting here. It's that even if you have encountered challenges, or you have goofed up, say, in some way that you wish you hadn't, that doesn't mean that you have to feel bad about yourself for having made a mistake. Generally speaking, it is perfectly possible to learn from a mistake that's been made. Using the experience of mistakes or of failure as a growing tool. It's like, of course, just because like when you have a setback, you know, like it can feel bad. You can feel a lot of discouragement. You can feel a lot of like, oh, should I even bother, you know, continuing on this path? Like maybe it's not the right thing for me. And maybe it would be better if I pivoted to doing something else. But again, like I'm saying, just because something is not going smoothly doesn't mean it's never gonna go smoothly. It just means that the optimal way to do it hasn't been worked out yet, maybe. Also not saying that you can't quit sometimes. Sometimes the thing that you have to learn and grow through is knowing when to quit at something. Sometimes that is the mistake you have to learn from and grow from, is not knowing when something is enough and knowing when you need to leave a situation. That is also one possible manifestation of this. We learn and grow in many different ways. Okay, let me get y'all some tarot cards for further messages. we are going to be using this lovely deck. It is called the Headless Tarot. It is by Violet Magician on Etsy. And it's a beautiful deck. It's got all of these lovely beings with heads that are non-human heads. You know, some of them are objects and some of them are animals. So this is a lovely deck that I've been using a whole lot. And big fan of it. Very pretty. Okay, can we please get a card for pile 3's past energies? Okay. Can we please get a card for pile 3's present energy? Ooh, firework. Can we please get a card for pile 3's present energy? Okay, I'm just going to take that top one of that. And we've got the Six of Pentacles. And then can I please get a card for pile 3's future energy? Ooh, the Devil. Okay, so pile 3. You've certainly got an interesting spread here. Alright, so with the Six of Swords in the past position, the vibe that I'm getting is that you will have... Okay, first of all, let me acknowledge that you've got 2 sixes here, and that the Devil is card number 15, which 1 plus 5 adds up to 6. So you've got 3 manifestations of 6 energy. So maybe the number 6 is significant to you. Maybe you are born on the 6th of a month. Maybe you are born during June, which is the 6th month. Or maybe your life path number, when you add up all the digits of your birth date, maybe your life path number is 6. Whatever it is. The Six of Swords in the past position indicates to me that you are coming out of a period of difficulty. The Six of Swords is definitely a card of, I think of the word refuge when I think of the Six of Swords. It's, you are crossing a river and you are fleeing from something that was not working from you, maybe even something that was actively causing harm to you. But you are making this journey, you are taking, you've been, or in the past tense, so you've been making passage, transitioning into a stage of life that is better for you. And maybe you didn't know what would happen when you left these difficult situations behind, but you still took the courageous step and you left. Even if you are going down the river into uncertainty, you knew that it would be better to be anywhere else other than where you were before, perhaps. And yeah, that is the energy I'm getting with the Six of Swords. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. So this might have been kind of a rapid transition of moving away, because Swords is the fastest card in the deck. And then conversely, what we have here in the present is the Six of Pentacles, and Pentacles are the slowest suit in the deck. So here we have this person, they've got multiple arms, which is so cool. They're holding on to a pentacle congruently with this other hand that's over here. They've got a little bell for a head. And they've got 6 coins, and they're sort of like this sort of like joyful way that they have been drawn above this person. It's giving me the vibe that your present energy, even if it's slower, it's like a pleasant kind of slow. Maybe you have gotten into a new routine. Maybe you are in a place where your energy is really balanced. Maybe things seem very much like you're enjoying a sort of stability that you haven't necessarily felt before. Like I was saying, routines might be possible here. You might be in a position to give generosity to other people, or maybe you are receiving generosity from the people around you. And like, this could be like a sort of thing of like working very much on your material needs for security, harmony, peace, love. So you might be like focusing on your resources, like do you have access to enough food, enough shelter, enough social connection, enough satisfying work to do. You might be very concerned lately about your tangible, material, physical reality. And you might be getting to a place where you're doing pretty well with it, you know? But then we have, in the future energy, we've got the devil. Now, no need to be scared if you haven't clicked off this reading immediately when you saw the devil, you know. The devil card is a very sensual card, you know? Because, like, the devil, it's like, there's this sort of, like, vibe of, if you've ever seen The Witch, the movie The Witch, at the end there's that very famous line, "Would you like to live deliciously?" And you see that the goat-headed devil here is offering an apple and holding a flame. So there's very much the vibe of like having your eyes set on a reward, but that reward coming with a sort of consequence. So there may be some sort of thing coming up in your future where you might take this like good, healthy focus on your material life, and you might get too tangled up in like the pleasures of regular, everyday, tangible reality. Or instead of the pleasures of it, you might get too wrapped up in the work of it all. The devil can be a card of overindulgence and hedonism, sure, but the devil card can also warn of like an excess focus on, like, say, materialism, or on habits that don't serve your best interest, but habits that keep coming back to you nevertheless. And, you know, maybe this was like the thing that you were trying to get away from, and that you did get away from with your Six of Swords. But it could be that, like, your past difficulties, you might be faced with an offer of temptation. Like, a situation might come up where you are tempted to go back into these old patterns or old habits or old situations. We've got, if you're watching this when it comes out, we've got a Venus retrograde ongoing, and we've got a Mercury retrograde coming up. And so retrogrades are a time when we review things, where we revisit situations and decisions and aspects of our lives, and we reconsider whether we are committed to the things that we're committed to, for example. So the devil card could indicate that in the near future you will be, I guess, tested is one way that you could say it. You might be tested. You might be tempted. You might be too wrapped up in things that don't truly make you happy or fulfilled or satisfied. And don't worry, that doesn't mean that you're doomed to this reality. You always, always have agency and free will. This is just, like, think of it as a little hint or a little warning about maybe the path you're on right now could lead to this, but it doesn't mean that it has to. you can always choose to do something different and therefore change this outcome. If you know that the devil is going to be in your future, if you know that you're going to be tempted to do something, if you know that you might get too wrapped up in the tangible material reality of things and get too focused on that material sort of security, stability, accumulating resources, making money kind of vibe, you can choose to not do that. Now, on the other hand, for pure fairness sake, I do have to offer the alternate suggestion of the devil as a card of sensuality. Now see, I feel like the devil gets too much of a bad rap in terms of like, we only talk about like the negative or detrimental sides of the devil, but I think every card can take negatives and positives in some sort of way, you know? And so I feel like if we were going to sort of see what the pleasurable side of the devil could be, it could be like a knowing and willing indulgence in these temptations, which is not like a bad thing. Like, you can choose to moderately indulge in things even if they are maybe not the best for you. We're all people, we all have desires. And sometimes we do things that aren't the healthiest, you know? Like, they aren't necessarily the thing that we are supposed to do. And it's okay if we do it a little bit. It's not like the end of the world if you know, like, if you are trying to, I don't know, like, for example, me right now, I am trying to eat less refined sugars. I'm trying to stick to like fruits and stuff because I have, for the first half of the year, been eating lots and lots of pastries, and I'm like, I have things in my health that suffer if I eat too many refined sugars, right? But I was like sad, and so I was eating lots of pastries and stuff, and now I'm trying to like be much more like restrained with that sort of thing. But like, it's not the end of the world if I eat a Danish, you know? Like, that's that's not gonna erase all of the progress that I've made. So like, even if you have a little stumbling block on your path, whether or not you decide to indulge in your temptations, like, you can change your actions at any time. Like, you are in control of your own decisions, at the very least. If there's one thing in life that you are in control of, that you do have agency over, it is your own ability to make different choices. Alright, let's see. Is there anything else from here? I keep wanting to flip this around. So yeah, whenever I encounter a challenge in my life, I use the experience to grow and learn. Maybe you are going to experience a challenge with this, but maybe you can learn from it. Okay, I'm gonna pull your oracle card now. I'm sorry if this reading has been like worrying or concerning, but like, you know, tarot readings, you don't have to take them as the end-all be-all. They are just here to give you a little glimpse, a little hint, a little guidance at what could be. But it doesn't mean you are doomed to be, you know? You're never stuck with an outcome. You always can change your fate. Alright, so we're going to, the oracle that we're going to use is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. I do side-eye this title a little bit, but, you know, 'tis a good deck. Alright. So, for pile 3, we shall get you an oracle card, and then I'm going to read from the guidebook for you, because these cards have nice little descriptions. Oracle card for pile 3, please. Nightingale. I'm gonna start singing that song from Cinderella where she's like, "Sing, sweet nightingale." Okay, let's see what the guidebook has to say about the nightingale. Okay. Nightingale, in the air element. Fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. The song of the nightingale is otherworldly. This simple brown bird, almost unnoticeable among the flashy plumage of other birds, transports its listener to the realm of poetry. Nightingale energy is with us when we write, compose, and especially when we sing. It reminds us that music heals the deepest wounds. This card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something that you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, and let it out. When in balance, sings, speaks freely with kindness. When out of balance, shy, lump in the throat. To bring into balance, music. Okay, so this is an interesting suggestion. So, communication, especially musical, artistic, creative communication, might be something that helps you with your learning and growing journey. The energy of the nightingale is sweetness that is not necessarily apparent from the outer visage, right? It's something that you have to wait to hear. So there might be something in your life or something about yourself where you haven't quite recognized the inner beauty or inner value of a thing. There might be like a person or a situation or a quality in your life where from the outside it looks unremarkable, but there might be a lot of like hidden or untapped potential for growth, for beauty, for harmony in it. And like just in general, something you can do to deal with stress: sing, write, listen to music. Even if you're not like a good singer, quote unquote, you don't have to be like a good singer just to sing, you know? Humans, I always say this, humans were made to make music. We were made to make pretty sounds with our voices and to dance with our little feet, even if we're not professionals at it. Like, think back to like 10,000 years ago. It's like people were not, the only people that sang and danced were not professionals. That was just a thing that everyone did. Maybe. I don't know. 10,000 years ago? Yeah, 10,000 years ago. Yeah. That's like when recorded history began. I'm sure we had music and dance back then. If not, then just like insert however many thousand years ago humans started singing and dancing. Okay, like, you don't have to be a pro to sing. You can just sing. You can just sing for funsies. Singing is great because it is something that makes you like control your breath in a way. And so singing can work as a sort of meditation. If you're like not a person who is like into traditional like sit and breathe meditation, singing is, when you're focused on singing, is a great meditation because it's doing that same thing of making you control your breath, which is what like yoga breathing does in a way. It's not the exact same, but you can get really similar benefits from it. Okay, pile 3. I think I will leave your messages here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you got some value out of this reading. If you liked it, please, let me know by liking, commenting, share it with a friend if you think that they'd enjoy it. You can subscribe to my channel if you would like to be informed when I post more videos and readings. I have my Kazemi Vlogs playlist that I have been doing where I talk about astrology, tarot, and other topics. I haven't actually done a tarot video for it yet, but it's been mostly astrology. But I will do tarot for it. I'm thinking of doing, for like all of the major arcana and talking about the different suits and their number symbolism and stuff. But yeah. You can also book a reading with me with the link down below. And if you have any topic suggestions or you just want to tell me how your pile resonated, you can put that in the comments. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.